All right. So I think I have figured out a little bit about this library. I didn't have a lot of time to go through it. But I was, I gave up and I argued with the LLM. Not a great idea. It was quite annoying. Anyway, what it did was it showed me this function and also this context. And then I think this will help me. This will help me actually use it. So we still have this source. This is not relevant to us. So I think the actual first thing it's doing is it's getting this context. And, don't know the language, don't know the direction, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. So I guess we can just start trying it out. And that would be down here, I believe. Or actually, like up here, maybe. This we can remove because we are generating that up here. It should be up here somewhere, right? So we have an alphabet. And what was this? KBTS. Shape. Push. Font from memory. The context. And I don't like starting with capitalization. The memory. Where am I loading the file actually? Font file. It's this, right? Probably the address. I forget what this was again. Assets. Okay. The size is there, so we can just do assets. Font index. I'm guessing that's 0. I'm not actually sure. Because I know that these TTFs, they can have multiple fonts within them. And I'm not sure exactly how it works. Probably I would just like query it and then pick the one that I want. So what I think it might be is if you go to like Google Fonts, right? you have this. Okay, here's Roboto. It has thin, italic, extra light, italic, blah, 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 right? So here, I think the index, maybe this is the first one, so this would be 0. And then index 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's what it means. The one that I'm using, Alata. There's only one, regular. So for sure, what I'm choosing is 0, but I think that's how it's working. Maybe it's something I should verify in the future. Huh. Well, how is that supposed to create shape context? What is this? So this is the allocator function pointer and the allocator data. If we don't give it anything, it's probably just going to malloc it. I could write my own allocator. But that's like an entire project in itself, so probably not something I want to do right now. That does mean, though, that we need to destroy it after. So here, okay, we have push font from memory instead, right? Shape begin, direction, language. Shape UTF-8, context, let's shape something. Document direction, it can significantly affect segmentation. Well, in this context, I do know. KBTS, direction, left to right. Language. Oh, there's a lot of languages here. Ah. So we do know the language. I guess we don't really need to fill it in at the moment. This, I think, is pretty useful information. And this is only really going to be useful for me in the future. So I think that's probably a good idea, just to put it left to right to help it out a little bit. But what does it do? I'm assuming this is also like just setting up the memory. Shape begin. Disables the context automatic segmentation. No, that's a subfunction. Okay, so it's using the memory that it has to clear it, basically, I guess. Okay. So it's just clearing the memory that it has. Fair enough. More or less. And then we do the shape UTF-8. UTF-8 is going to be the one that I'm using all the time, I think. Is there different ones? UTF... There is UTF-16, right? Yeah. And what other... There's Unicode. Maybe that's the only one implemented, I'm not even sure. Pop feature. Push feature. Feature tag kern. Also, one thing, I need to fix this implementation. I think it's like KBTS or KB text shape implementation, right? What was it? Basic usage. Examples and then basic. Great. Shape begin. Shape UTF. Let's shape something. Size of that minus the... Okay, so it's very... It's important it's without the zero terminator. User ID generation mode code point index. Hey, Cloverus. I don't know what... Is that a 1-1 or IL? Ah, lost level. Cool. Yeah, I guess that's maybe showing up on StartGG. I'm not sure. I never saw that. I've never used that website more than to sign up for tournaments. So let's see. Code point index, source index. So the thing I don't understand about this is what is this really doing? Because, okay, I have my shapes for each character for this alphabet. And I want to get the exact size position of all the characters, but then I want to store it. The thing is, there's... so I'm not 100% sure how it works. Let's say you have JJ, and then you have JM. Now, this is a monospace, so it might be a bad example. The distance between the J and J and the J and M might be different depending on the font, simply because it looks better if the J's are spaced further away. We can actually go and test that maybe here. So if I do JJ and then MM or JM, that looks to be about the same. FC. So here, I believe, it's hard to see. So if you take a look here and here, I don't know. I think it might be the same 2 pixels in like the distance here and there. So it might actually be monospaced, but you can imagine that depending on the font, let's do like that, just so it looks nicer, and do transparent selection. You can imagine that a font would look like that to make it look nicer, right? And then depending on the preceding character, the distance that the C needs to travel from left to right to advance to the next character is going to be different depending on the preceding character. So that's why you kind of have to, like, if you want to have super correct text shaping, then you do need to do that for every single string. In this particular in this situation, I don't know if that's going to be super necessary, because I would like to just do it once and store the results, and I'll have to run it for every single string. If I make a different program, then I could think about doing that for every single string. But I don't think that's going to be necessary at this point. So yeah, Clover.s. I am developing it's not much of a game right now. It's more about the engine. So I'm developing, this is a OpenGL engine, the first one that I made. I've made like 2 other engines in DirectX, but they were all missing something, right? So like one was missing audio and anything related to that. Another one was missing, like I got audio working, but then I was missing all of the like dynamic loading of assets. So like this is my 3rd attempt, so to say. But all of the things that I developed before, I can still use right now. The thing is that before I've always hit a roadblock. So for example, with the audio, you're having maybe 44.1 kilohertz audio versus 48 kilohertz audio. And if you have headphones, for example, one might be rated for 44. This is like CD quality. And then you have speakers, and the speakers are rated for 48 kilohertz, and that's DVD quality. It's typically called. Then you have other ones. You have like 22.05 kilohertz, like basically the half of this. And you also have like studio quality, 96 kilohertz. So there's all these kinds of like bit rates, or sample rates, it's called. And depending on the sample rate, you have to transform the samples for the device you're playing it on. So if you're on a computer and you have 2 devices, one speaker and one headphones, then you need to transform the audio to play on the device. Otherwise, it's going to be sped up, or it's going to like sound squeaky or something like that. And of course, because I'm stubborn, I decided to try to write that like a Fourier transform to do that. You can't lose to this guy. That's all right. We will see today. But yeah, what I was saying, I wanted to write this for your transform function myself, and I just kind of failed. And I was asking around, I was Googling, and asking some LLM. I even like read a couple pages of a book, like a math book, and I just like it. Kind of like just went nowhere. So either I deal with that and I try it again, or I download the library and do it for me, like OGG library. And that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. If I want to do audio again, I'm probably just going to use OGG because it is kind of the industry standard, and there's lots of libraries to use it quite nicely. But I am on the hunt for good libraries. So everyone knows the SDB libraries. They are quite nice because you only like include them and use them, and like they're fairly simple to use. You see here Vorbis. This is the OGG library, I think. One issue with them is that they're not always written for performance. So there might be other libraries that are better. The best example is probably this SDB image. SDB image is crazy good for what it does, which is, being able to read and encode PNG, JPEG, BMP, whatever. But if you actually do want to do it properly with the like correct compression and everything, and this is also faster, then you do want to use libpng. And I think there's even like some other alternatives that are even better, like JPEG XL, I think it's called. This is a format that is also lossless, or it's like optionally lossless, and you can make PNGs with it. I think I haven't really looked into it. So yeah, like when it comes to development, like, okay, you can kind of just like throw a library in there to do it for you, and then like it works, but maybe it's bad. Like, and if you don't know what you're doing, you don't really know what's happening either. And I always wanted to be on the side of knowing what's happening rather than just like, oh, let's throw a library in here and hope for the best. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Like, of course, there are libraries for text shaping, and actually, I am using this library for text shaping. But I'm trying to do it in the like mindful way. So what I'm doing now, literally, is just trying to you have this thing that is spinning around. Let's do that. This thing is all of the characters in the font file, and I'm generating them one by one with a pixel distance in between. But then when I'm actually printing them, you will see that the distance between is not equal. You can see also that the shading is not consistent. This one is having pretty good shading, but this one is a lot blurrier. And that's because this is scaled up for some reason. Or not for some reason. Something about this being, the shape of this is wrong, basically. And the shape should be probably like smaller or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And you can see that the distance between the characters is inconsistent. And that's because I'm not doing the correct shaping. I am just drawing them with the same distance between them. So like you can see the middle point here to the middle point there is going to be the same as the middle point here and the middle point there. Something like that. And also then you can see that, okay, well, it looks like the middle point of the J is here, but actually it's there. Right there. That's the middle point. So because of that, you need to be mindful of the shaping, and that's what this library is doing. So you can print out the characters in the way that you are expecting them to work. And technically, if you want to be 100% correct, you can see here also small characters. They are in the middle when they should be like shaped down here, and also space closer like that. So all that to say, that's what I'm building. And if you want to be 100% correct, I guess you do have to shape every string individually, because like it depends on the font, right? So probably Calibri or something that's not gonna have an issue. But if you have Arabic text, then it's a huge deal, right? Do you have to give a character its own shaping, or are you trying to find a consistent way for all of them? Well, that depends on the font. So the person who made the font can make it however they want. The font in here is monospace, so I can do A B C D E F G, and if we throw that into Paint, you will notice that they are all exactly the same size and shape. And that's true even for small characters and letters and symbols and everything. Now that does mean that sometimes you get like a little bit weird spacing, like this space looks a little bit long and this looks a little bit short, and like the designer of the font just has to make that decision. Should the dot be a little bit more to the left or to the right? So I can have this chill life later on. Thanks for the motivation. Well, I wouldn't say that my life is chill right now, but I'm trying to make the best out of it, right? So yeah, you can see here probably that, okay, this H is a little bit short and this J is a little bit high. And all those decisions are just in order to make this space or this font to be monospace. When you make a non-monospace font like this, all you're doing really is you're having the space between each character variable. So then you can have an I that looks like this, rather an I like with that looks like that. You can see it's a very fat I. And then that can be your only variable, like the distance between each character and spaces. But then you can make it more complicated. You can make it variable depending on the characters before or after, or you can even make ligatures. So ligatures is, I hate ligatures. But ligatures is when you take two characters and put them together into one character. And then you have to like read the font and you have to like detect, oh, this is a different kind of thing. And then because it's one character, it has different spacing and everything. So like it gets really complicated really fast. And luckily for English, it's not that bad. But can I have like I don't read Arabic, but you can see here that you have a bunch of different characters and they're like kind of smushed together into like something different. And that happens all the time, and it's different in different languages like Farsi or something like that. So if you want to support everything and you want to support, not just Arabic left to right, right to left, KB text shaping. So this is the library I'm using. You see, you have this like Hindu script. I'm not sure. Yeah, Hindi. You're having some Thai, Khmer. Okay. And other, this is Georgian, I think. Myanmar. Okay. Well, sorry. Anyway, if you want to support everything that is supported by Unicode, Unicode is basically the gold standard for like all the text and all the emojis in the world. They're all having their own like unique number. So sometimes you're having this is kind of funny. You have Greek semicolon versus regular This is funny. Like this is me nerding out a little bit. I can't see anything. So what's the difference in this in these two pictures? It's the same symbol, but they're having different values, and for the computer they are different. So when the computer read text, it sees the number here, and then it gets very confused sometimes. So all of those things are having their own values and their own like spacing and different fonts. Sometimes the font supports the character, sometimes they don't. And that's why you need a library like this, because every character that is supported by a font needs to have all this information like stored within it. And yeah, again, very complicated. So sorry for the rant. Now I want to try this. Now, here's the thing, like I could shape this. Another thing, by the way. Nice, because it's already running. The purpose of using OpenGL for this project is that I can build for 2 systems, in the future 3, and I can do this. This is, for some reason, this takes a lot longer to compile with EMCC. But now I can do this. Ah, nice. Beautiful. So something is broken. Of course, when I want to show it, no, game. Of course, when I want to show it, it's like this. But in theory, this should be the same thing. And I can run it both as a local, like executable, or in a browser, and I can host it. Ah, you're so intrigued. That's nice to hear. Like I have a lot of like esoteric knowledge about this, but I have no one to talk. I have no one to talk about it with, so that's why that kind of what's motivated me to stream. Just because most of the time, I'm just trying to figure stuff out, you know. So maybe I'm just like sitting here in silence and like, oh, I'm learning this new library to shape text. But I actually do know a lot about the like specifics about the things that I'm trying to do. So I think it would be interesting to share, and I hope maybe I will find my audience at some point. Anyway, what was I doing? We are trying this shaping, and something is happening. So let's see what's going on, because I want to see what's going on. What are we actually getting here? We're doing the shape for the alphabet. Mm-hmm. So I guess if you would want to shape every single string, you could preload a bunch of fonts up to 32 different fonts. And then store this shape context. And then I guess maybe you can make another shape context if you want to have more than 32. Or maybe go into the source here, shape context. Like there's probably a variable here somewhere saying, oh, it's got to be 32. Like here. It's probably going to say maximum amount of blah, blah, blah. You can increase that if you want. Also, you can see this is the like library that is allowing you to shape all these languages. And it's like 30,000 lines just to shape the characters. So it's not something that I would like to write on my own, for sure. Does every font come with its own shape context? Yes. So like the concept of a shape context is just this library. Like it's a struct. KBTS shape context. Like it's just a struct that this guy created. But the information for that he is getting from the font to put in here does necessarily need to be in every font. So you can look up, like, I don't know, Wikipedia, TTF file format. History, blah, 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 file formats, basic. And then it's probably, no? That's it? Usually Wikipedia is a little bit better to look up the specification. Yeah, so I don't know. There's this glyph thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to click on that. What the fuck? So like I don't know exactly where to find it, but like you can look up the specification for TrueType, and you can read a lot about it here, I guess. Microsoft is a pretty good place to learn generally, so I would recommend that. It keeps crashing all the time. I hope that's on you and not on me. I do. It does say that my bitrate is a little bit low. Is that something I can change? Maximum. Like I can lower this to 4. Maybe it works while I'm live. Well, it might be me. Like I'm not really sure. I do have this. You can look here. This bitrate is a little bit low. This thing. Or it shouldn't be red, but it doesn't tell me that I dropped any frames. I only dropped 15 frames according to OBS, but I lowered the bitrate a little bit. I hope it's going to be better. Anyway, you can read about that here. There's also OTF. So it's American hip hop group. No, it's an alternative to TTF, but it's less popular. I don't really know much about it, but you know, basically it describes the same thing. So like all of that information is in the font, and of course, when someone is creating the font, they can just like define, oh, I want it to be monospaced, or I want it to be a defined width for every character, or they want it to be, supporting a bunch of stuff like ligatures. And they immediately started using their phones. Yeah, I know how it is. It's the same when I visit my family. Or it's the same when I was working and I was going to the hotel, and then when everyone else arrived, everyone is starting, imagine 100 internet nerds going to the hotel at the same time. It's not what the hotel internet is used to, let me tell. Anyway, I need to understand this context thing. So we're having it didn't do a shaping run. Should this be one? So KBTS run. So I need to do this also. Glyph. Display glyph. So the one thing I'm not understanding here is that I still haven't told KBTS the size I want it to be at. So that's another thing. Like, let's say I have some text here. It has the size 12. Well, if I check here, the height is 10. Yeah, the height is about 10 pixels. So where's the 12 coming from? And what is the width? The width is also about 10, I think. It's 9 pixels wide. So like, where's the 12 coming from? Well, the 12, I think, is defining the maximum size of the entire thing. Although that's also not quite true. This is 12 by 12, and you can see that A is not centered there. So when you're, I think this value, it defines the maximum area that the character can occupy. But then it doesn't have to occupy that full size, 22, right? So this is 19, and this is only 13 high and 10 wide, but it has the size 22. So that also means that, well, obviously the distance here is going to be different from the distance here. But I never told this KB library what size I want to render it at. I do that when I rasterize the characters here. I tell it alpha scale this thing. I tell it, okay, I want it to be 32 pixels high, or like the size of the font should be 32 pixels. I think I need to blow my nose. Yeah, sorry. So this is the font size, and I need that to rasterize the font. Uh, STB is using this like scale, and I'm not sure what the scale represents because it's like a 0.02 or something. If I remember, actually, it does say was ALF. Yeah, 0.02. Maybe it's just the inverse. No, it's close, but it's not quite. So what is this? 43. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what this means. It might also be something like related to the font itself, that this value is a little bit funny. I don't really know, but the point I'm getting to is that I need the shape, the text shape needs to be aware of the font size I'm rendering at, and I never put that in. This size is the font file, the size of the font file. And here I'm getting, offsets already. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Display glyph. Well, that's an imaginary function. Maybe the C. What does that mean? Oops. I don't really want to. Yeah, you can terminate that. I will look at that later. But I do want to figure out what this means. So maybe because this is okay. This offset is an integer, so maybe this integer I can just multiply by the scale, and then I get like a float offset. Oh, what the hell? That's unusual. Like I never get Remedy crashing like that. Cursor X, cursor Y. So obviously, the first one is going to be at 0, 0. That's where I start drawing. And then I advance X. $600. Do I multiply that by? Oh, did I typed that completely wrong? So I think this glyph X needs to be multiplied by alf dot, was it scale? And then we get 15 like float units to the right, and we get y is no different, which, you know, it makes sense for do I have a lot of here? Yeah. It makes sense because they're both on the same line. What would be interesting is when I get to like the lowercase a. Hmm? This is different every time, but y is never different. Interesting. Okay. Also, this is the cursor. I don't really care about the cursor. I want the offset. Or do I? No, I want the. Yeah, I want this. This is what I want. So if I only run this once, yeah. Again, just because I'm only testing this out. F32X. So this is only a test. I don't care about anything except this I, right? Equals glyph offset X. And that's it. Now here, when I render the characters, where do I render the characters? Here. On this position, hmm. Okay. Because this is not really related to the size of the draw box. It's related to the step between each draw call. So actually, if I go to OpenGL draw, I am drawing. No. It's in the game. And I'm setting up the translation here 20 times I. And that 20 needs to be this this float array, which I can't really do without, like I need to store it somewhere. So let's store it, I guess, in the alphabet struct here. So what, like offset step. Where was this? But the game is not aware of the alphabet. And OpenGL, no, OpenGL is aware of the alphabet. So that means I can't really set this up in the init. Like right now I'm just testing things out. So I can kind of like throw things around however I want. But this is not how I want it to be ending up. It's kind of a spaghetti code right now. Sure, we finish with that, and then we do this multiplication. E obviously is right. And well, that's gonna work right off the bat, I hope. But we want to not use 20 here. We want to use the alphabet dot font font x offset I. Well, okay. Now we have to draw it differently because now they're all gonna overlap again. There is a minimum. Well, okay. Actually, we can do it like this. We have to do the same thing like before. A cursor. Yeah, cursor X is already defined. So this is kind of the same thing as before. It's, yeah. Cursor plus the offset, and then it's plus equals the offset. Oops. I need to look up exactly how the offset and things are working before. No? Why are they all 0? It doesn't make sense. This is different every time. So why is the offset? Maybe I misunderstood. So, okay, if we go back here to paint, we have our character, but no, here's our A. If we just draw our A right here, it's gonna be like in the middle point. So the Y offset needs to be like downwards. So if I go to, let's just put A there. Now I predict this Y offset is going to be negative. No? Why not? Is it like from the bottom or something? Like what's going on? What about J? Because J goes below. Oh. No, nothing. It doesn't care. Maybe it is just monospaced or something. So let's do this advanced X instead. Alf.scale. So now for sure this is going to be... Whoa, 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 whoa. Multiplied, I guess, not divide. That would have been funny to see how that would work out. Yeah. 15, 14, 15. That looks about what I would expect. So then we draw it. Oh. Doesn't quite look right. Yeah. Well, here you can see that the Z and A overlap, which is not a good thing. What if I... I don't know, do we have to just do this? Yeah. Fine. That doesn't look right at all. So this... Hold on, someone is by the door. We have this issue that people in the building are ordering things online and then they're not at home. And then the postman has this brilliant idea that if someone is not home, they should ring on the neighbors. And then, like, twice per day, someone is ringing the door, our dogs go crazy, and like the package is still undelivered. Like, it's just insane to me. I wish I could like unplug it if I'm not expecting anyone to deliver anything. It's really annoying. Anyway, this is like I and J looks completely off. So I don't know. Like, I'm taking it literally directly from this glyph X. Also, I don't know if this is ever not 0. But I guess we should try. There's only one anyway. Hmm. Does that solve? It doesn't solve anything. And in fact, I think the spacing between B and C is wrong. Is there more information about the glyph here? So we have the offset and the advance to the next glyph. Do we have a linked list? Code point is just a character. It's like car. As you can see. The next one, B66. CD, blah, blah, blah. Config. No. Does it say anything about the size of it? It doesn't. Run. What does that contain? It has the glyphs. Allocator, blob, CMap. I don't know. Because okay, I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong here. Well, obviously something is not right, but am I doing something wrong? Because I'm having my position vertices here. And they are correct. The question is if they are, if the values are exactly what I want them to be. Because we have the, like, I'm going through the same alphabet here. And we have this, like, you know, similar thing, character, right? And we have the size and the offset. Now, in the STB library, if I can find that. What he is saying is width. He's writing somewhere that you get the width of the character by taking the size minus the offset. But I think that's not true. I don't, like, I think when I'm building the actual square, when I'm making the quad, the rectangle that makes up that I'm actually drawing the character out of, I'm probably supposed to use the size. And then this offset thing, that's kind of what I'm calculating up there. Where is that? Here. Let me try that. That might be like exactly the issue. And please just compile. Oof. That's no good. What happened? What happened? So the width is, some tiny value. That's fine. The height is 0. How is the what? Why is the size y 0 and the offset y character 66? That's not right, by the way. It should be 65. Uh, why is the size 1 and 0? I don't understand. This is never updated. Size X. Here. Get the B box of the bitmap centered around the glyph origin. So the bitmap width is ix1 minus ix0. Height is iy1 minus iy0. And location to place the bitmap top left is left side bearing times scale on the x. And then iy0. Note that the bitmap uses y increases down, but the shape uses y increases up. So the code point bitmap box and code point box are inverted. Should I use a different function? No, I need the font info. So like this is what I want to use this thing. So let's draw it out because it's confusing me a little bit right now. I thought I had this figured out. Oops. So we have a B box. And a B box. First off, what is a B box? Well, it's a bitmap box, I assume. And this bitmap box is the box where that contains the bitmap. So you know you have pixel 1, pixel 2, pixel 3, blah blah blah. Pixel 15, 16, 18, blah blah blah. And we use this to draw into our buffer, bitmap buffer. And it's centered around the glyph origin. So separately, we have the glyph. Let's call it G. It has an origin. I guess the origin is in the middle, but it doesn't have to be. The origin could be bottom left, bottom right, top left. Like, who knows? Maybe that's something in the font file. Left side bearing timescale. So is this something that I get? We get font. This has the info. Left side bearing. Oh, it's not there. Where's this from? Get glyph H metrics. The offset from the current horizontal position to the left edge of the character. Am I supposed to run this before I do anything else? So like, okay, I get that I can run this and using that I can calculate, at least for the font that I have, I can use this to calculate basically the same thing that I'm doing without using this AKB text shape. However, if I don't want to do that, and I do want to use KB text shape, I don't want to use both. Then what do I do? Because the other issue is that some of the characters look kind of blurry, and that's probably because I'm drawing them incorrectly. So we enter render doc. We look at this texture again. Actually, I don't think they are. I don't think it is blurry here. Can I change it to white now? Never mind. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that I'm trying to figure out. Uh, these all look fine, but when I draw the G, I think it was, or I draw the C, it looks blurry. And the reason it looks blurry is because I'm drawing the box is the wrong size compared to this character. Now, I thought what you see here what it says. IX1 minus IX0, IY1 minus IY0. That's basically this. Because we look here, offset X, scale, scale, offset X, offset Y, size X, size Y. So that is correct. Could it be that I'm drawing it in like the wrong half pixel? Do I need to? Mm, maybe that's why what this is about. Mm-hmm. Left side bearing. For the glyph index. Okay, so I have a new plan. We don't do that. Instead, we do use this STB library. Not that one. We have the font info somewhere. Okay. There we go. So yeah, it's the font glyph index. By that, I'm assuming the character. Left side bearing. We'll see what it says. And we do that for in a for loop, so alphabet length. And that is already -1. Oh. Let's see how that looks. Really? Why is I equals 1? Huh? Am I dumb? How? That doesn't make any sense. I plus plus after I equals 0. Am I writing to like the wrong memory or something? I 0 and it's an infinite loop. No way. What? That can't happen. What am I doing wrong here? Am I stupid? Am I dumb? What is going on? I have never seen this in my life. What? I have never seen this in my life. What's going on? No, 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 no. That is not possible. There's something else going on. Um, I feel completely dumbfounded. Oops. Clang. Um, I'm not sure which one. Latest one. Standard IO, right? Why do I keep saving it? Output. Execute the code. I don't use Godbolt very much. So it puts 0 there. It prints. Oh, wait. What is this? Compare. If this is we compare if it's 5. If it is 5, we jump down there. And then we do the print, and then we increment. And then we jump back to the comparison. So that's as simple as you can put it. I don't understand. I've never seen that in my life. I can't like where would I even start debugging that? Like I can show the instruction. I can show the assembly source mode. Where is the disassembly? Ah, here it is. Where are we? Load assets plus some value. Jump. Okay. We compare, I guess this is the I with 75. But already I is build that. Like this is the shit I have to deal with. Why why does my for loop not work? Watch. We put 0 in I. We compare it to 75. And then we jump when not J and L. Not less. We jump when not less. Right? We didn't jump. What is J and L? Uh-huh. Am I even streaming anymore? List of instructions, J and L. Jump if condition. Yes, what is the condition? The condition is jump greater equal, not less. Okay. I is now I is 0. And then we're adding, so that's working. What the hell is going on? So again, I is 0. And now it's never incrementing. This is going to be the Greek semicolon again. I is 0. Still 0. We're calling this function. I is 0. I is definitely 0. And this is 65. And then I is incremented. So I haven't I have a feeling. No, I was thinking that I was defining I outside, and then that was kind of messing with it, but I don't. Is this a compiler bug? I is 0, and then it's 1. At what point does it become 1? We move add. Why are we adding? Why are we adding? Why are we adding? Like, am I stupid? I don't understand what's going on. Am I breaking at the wrong place? I is 3. Hold on. Hold on. I am not compiling with any kind of optimizations. Win32. 0. And you can see it here. 0. No optimizations present. So I am moving something, a pointer, into the memory. Or maybe the data in the pointer to the memory. I am not good at assembly at all. But we're doing something like that. And then byte pointer, this thing probably. But I is 0. So it is doing the right thing. It is doing the right thing. But it might. So something like maybe this is a remedy bug. But it seems like I step into here the first time, I is 1. But if I actually look at the chars, 0, this is 65. And it did run once. So I think my breakpoint just executed late, which, I never encountered that before. It was very confusing. But I guess it's just the debugger being weird. So anyway, I completely forget what I was doing. So again, we do that. I don't really care for the assembly anymore. We get our left side bearing. And we have our advance and left side bearing. And we do that for every character. So they're going to be slightly different. The advance is the same for A and B, and C, and D, and so on. But the left side bearing is slightly different. So then, do we use the advance? And this should also be cars I dot. STB said what? Still can't really. I'm a little bit flustered by that entire thing. Get H metrics. Bitmap box. What did he say? IY0. IY0 is the offset. So we are taking the offset. What? We need to fix that, of course. Oh. Ooh. Did I save the advance? Yes. I think it should be the opposite. So minus, and also that offset doesn't make sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not actually cut off. So this is not enough. We need to add something to it. So let's do cars advance. Plus cars. Left side bearing. Still not good. I'm not really sure what I'm missing. What is the secret ingredient? Wait, hold on. There's like no difference here. Why is that? $12? Like no matter what I'm doing, just doesn't work. Okay. So he's saying the width is this, which is what I'm calculating. The height, same. The location to place the bitmap top left is left side bearing. So this left side, please. I'm doing that above. Left side bearing times scale. So let's not do divide by 2 here. I don't think that's the correct thing. Times scale. And then let's start at 0, bottom left. UV can stay the same. Bottom right, it's the scale width, still 0. Top right, it's the width and height, yes. Then top left is 0. Now these are too close and these are too far. Why did that happen? The characters look better though. They look less blurry. Yeah. So still, this distance is too short. And this distance is huge. So what is the cursor doing up here? It takes the cursor plus the offset. And then it advances the cursor by the advance. Am I getting that? Advance width. I think that mirrors what. I think that mirrors what the KB library is doing. Does that look better? Like, not really. It's kind of the same issue. Also, if I look at the cars, we are having A, B are on the same height. C here looks like it's 1 pixel too high, and then D is back down. So if we look here, the offset Y minus 18, minus 18, minus 18, and minus 18. And the size Y, 0, 0, aha, it's 1. And then 0 again. So I think this is, there's something wrong in the documentation or my interpretation of it. It's not a huge issue at the moment, but it's definitely like placing this in the wrong spot. Also, of course, alf scale. Please let me just compile it. Can't. Mm-hmm. Really? Why is B all of a sudden? They should be exactly the same. Why is the B lower than the A and C when it literally doesn't have any difference? Wait, now 0 is 66 again. They're all 66. When did that happen? Never. So the obvious question then is this character not the like ABC? Oh wait, maybe that's the reason why it's not working. Okay. That's closer. That is definitely closer. I am adding something that I shouldn't be because I was trying it out. Shh, 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 shh. Hmm. I want to go back here. So I want to do basically the same. But we're using alf dot. You know what? Let's. This we are doing. And then I'm putting this code underneath. Here. And then I get the the scale, translation, mesh. Might have copied it multiple times there. Alphabet cursor X we are not using. It's this times. Yeah, it's this. Just that. Oh. And I want to do plus. Just so I can see it better. Now the A and B is perfect, but the C is all the way. All the way up there. And I don't get it. And then F and G is a huge distance away. It's not quite the same. But you can see that the distance here is like basically perfect. But the C for some reason is not. I don't get it. So this is A. Offset is 0. we can do this also. Because it's 0, the offset is also 0. And then we have advance 600. The offset is again 0. So the glyph is at 600. $15. And that's correct. Advance 626. So now we're at 1307 plus offset. 1307. It's like 30, which I guess is all right. Is it though? Like they're all, it's like 15, 30, 45, 61. It's about 15. But when I'm actually looking here, this is like 15. Let's do that. So like here's the first character. It's drawn from the 0 point. Then we go 15. But this character is not 15 wide. So this A is way wider than the B. This is 14 across. The B is only 9. So how do we account for that? We have the advance and offset. And then the advance is 626. 681. But 626 is not. Yeah. And what was it? 21. Like that difference is not enough. It's just not enough. 26 even. Like seen from that perspective, it makes sense. Um, you know, this is like actually one smaller or whatever. Like, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's not 14 pixels wide. That's the issue. And 14 and a half. So is it wrong? Like here it says the code point is 66. The next character is 67. That is the C. And it's telling me the step is 649, which is also like way too long. But it might be. Is it the next character in the sequence that it's supposed to represent? So the only other alternative would be changing the scale of them. So like I don't know, I can change this scale. Like this is gonna be fun. Okay. So what if I do like half? So I can change that scale. But then as you notice, these are overlapping. These are like almost at the right position. The only other option I have is changing this scale. Like, let's double this one instead. That should give basically the same effect, except that it looks blurrier because the transparency, like, they're rendered at double size without actually increasing the resolution. But you get the same issue. So this doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I kind of ran out of time to work on this right now. I need to get ready to leave. But like it's telling me the wrong value, and I'm not sure why. I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit harder. Or try a different font or something like that, because this is incorrect. And I'm not sure. There's some piece of the puzzle that I'm missing. But none of the values here seem to make any sense. Like, this is close. Oh, this is correct, but this one is not. This is too wide. And I'm not sure what to do about it. I don't know. Hail Mary, Alf. Wait. Where did I store that? The cars. Like, I don't know. I am just reaching for it. Also interesting that it stopped drawing the other things in my scene. Yeah, this is just completely wrong. It's not like this is good, this is not good, and then everything else followed is kind of bad. So I don't know. Maybe it's something wrong with my. There's definitely something wrong somewhere. I just need to find it. But I think that's it for today. So thank you for watching. And maybe tomorrow, hopefully, we will solve this. So see you around.